Today I am in my kitchen and I'm going to show you how to make 5 different spice blends. So today we are making 5 different spice blends. The first one being a taco seasoning, then a chili seasoning, a barbecue seasoning, Italian seasoning, and then lastly a Southwest seasoning. The good thing about making your own spice blends is that you most likely will have all the spices on hand anyway, so it's a lot cheaper to be able to make your own versus buying all the pre-packaged spice, the blends that they have for like taco and chili seasoning. You can go ahead and you can make your own. Let's start with taco seasoning. So the first spice that we're going to need is 1 tablespoon of chili powder. And you don't have to be exact when you're measuring out your spices. You know, if you like to think, oh, I might like to have a little bit more chili powder, then just go ahead and add in more chili powder. So there's 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and then 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. Oh, I gotta take all these little tabbies off. Okay, so 1 tablespoon garlic powder. And then we're going to use 1½ teaspoon of paprika. And you could use the smoked paprika if you like, but today we're just using regular paprika. I'm afraid it's all going to come out in one big lump. Okay, oops. So there's 1. Now let's just do a little half. We'll call it that, half. So 1½ teaspoons of paprika. The next spice we're going to be adding to our mixture is 1½ cumin. So 1½ teaspoon, that is, of cumin. Okay. So there's 1. Ooh, you can smell that cumin. And then there's the half. So next is 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. And onion powder. And let's see, our oregano. And for the oregano, we just need 1 teaspoon. We need 1 teaspoon of our Redmond's real salt. For our pepper, we just need 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And that looks good enough. Like I said, you don't have to be exact in measuring of your spices. And the last spice is cayenne pepper. And we're just going to use 1/2 teaspoon of our cayenne pepper. And again, you know, you want it to be more spicier, go ahead and add some more. I think that's close enough. So there you go. There's all of our spices for our taco seasoning. Look how pretty all the different colors are. And these little containers are great for when you make your spices. They are from Ball, and of course they're glass. And then it has the screw-on lid, and then on top it has the little sprinkle. So you can either use it by shaking or just simply opening it up. So let's go ahead and mix up our spices. And again, this is for our taco seasoning, so you no longer have to go to the store and worry about buying all the taco packets. You have your own at home, and you know exactly what is in your spice. And you can also control how much heat or how much, you know, the different spices that you want. You can control how much of each that you have. Okay, so now we'll just simply add our taco seasoning. So there is your spice number 1, your seasoning, and this is our taco seasoning. So then you just go ahead and keep this in your cabinet like you would your spices. And I would go ahead and I'm going to take like a piece of tape and then just simply write down taco seasoning on here. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that now because I will forget if I don't write this down. So, because they all start looking alike when you have them in your cabinets. So let's write down taco. Okay, so there's our taco seasoning. So now our next spice blend we are making is going to be for chili. So So for our chili seasoning, 2 tablespoons of our chili powder. Oops, so there's 1. Whoops, 2. And then 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And there's 1 teaspoon and 2. The next seasoning we're going to need is 2 teaspoons of our cumin, which, where did I put it at? Right here. So 1 and 2 teaspoons of cumin. Okay, now we're going to need 2 teaspoons of our oregano. So 1 and 2. Next, we are going to be using 1 teaspoon of paprika. And this is just 1 teaspoon of the paprika. 1 teaspoon of the onion powder. And then our last one is only a half a teaspoon of thyme. So we'll call that a half a teaspoon of thyme. So there you go. There is all your spices for easy chili seasoning. And again, I love all the colors of all these different spice blends. They just look wonderful. Okay, so we'll go ahead and give this one a stir and mix up all our spices. Plus, once you get them inside the jar, you can go ahead and give it a shake, just to make sure you kind of have everything blended. Let's get these mixed up here real good. Okay, I think that looks good. And now we'll get our other little spice jar out. Let's just go ahead and write this down now what this one is. So this is our chili spice. I could get my funnel out. It'd be a lot easier, but I'm going to go ahead and just spoon in my seasoning because when I was trying to pour it in, I was losing some of my seasoning because I wasn't very good at doing it. So let's try spooning it in this time. So there you go. There is your spice blend number 2. So there is our taco seasoning and then our chili seasoning. The next one we are going to do is a barbecue spice. So our next seasoning blend is going to be our barbecue seasoning. And this is our first spice we're going to use is just salt. And we use the Redmond's real salt. And you need 1 tablespoon of salt and then a tablespoon of black pepper. 1 tablespoon of black pepper. And then we're going to need 1 tablespoon of our chili powder, which I have right here. Next spice is garlic powder. And for our garlic powder, we are going to need 1 tablespoon again. Tablespoon. So there's a tablespoon of garlic powder. And then a tablespoon of our paprika, which is here. There's our paprika. And then the last one before our barbecue spice is onion powder. And we're going to need also a tablespoon of our onion powder. So for the barbecue, all the spices that were used, you needed a tablespoon of all of them. Stir this one up. And if you don't have these little containers for your spices, it doesn't matter. You can just get like a canning jar with a lid is more than fine. Or even kind of a glass container or whatever you might have. This is store your spices. And you just have to have these special spice jars. I just happened to find those at a thrift store one day. And I thought, oh my gosh, those are perfect for all the spices. So that's what we use them for. Okay, and so we'll label this one. And again, this is the barbecue spice. Spoon the mixture in there. Now this one is going to be a little close at fitting it all in there because they were all tablespoons. Okay, so there is our barbecue seasoning, our chili, our taco, and our barbecue. So our next spice blend we're going to be making is Italian seasoning, because if you're like us, we use Italian seasoning in like everything. So that's the next one we're going to be making. Okay, so now we are ready for our Italian seasoning. Now, the first spice, let me get my measuring spoon. First spice we need for our Italian seasoning is a tablespoon of our oregano, which I think is here, yep. So this again is our Italian seasoning, and we need a tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of our parsley, and then a tablespoon of thyme. And Chris doesn't really care too much for thyme, that much. So I probably won't put a full tablespoon of it. So we'll just use that amount. And that's what's so nice about making your own spice blends, is that you can adjust the seasoning taste and flavor of how you do it. So there we have, that was thyme. Now we're going to need 2 teaspoons of basil. So there's 1 teaspoon and then 2 of our basil. Okay, so we have oregano, parsley, thyme, basil, and next we need 2 teaspoons of sage. And there's 1 and 2. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we're going to need a teaspoon of our Redmond's real salt. And the last spice we need is 1 teaspoon of black pepper. So there is our Italian seasoning blend, all the different spices. And let's go ahead and we will, oh, you know what? I almost forgot again. Let's go ahead and mark this on our jar. Put my tape down right there. And so this is our Italian seasoning, because after you put them in there, you got them sitting beside each other, they all start blending in together. Then you can't remember what you have. So now let's stir up our seasoning. This is not quite as colorful as the other ones because it didn't have any of the orange or the brown color. So far we've done taco, we've done chili, we've done barbecue, and then this one is our Italian seasoning blend. And again, these are all, a lot of these are all spices you probably have in your pantry anyways. That's what makes it great, that you don't have to think, oh gosh, let's make chili. Oh, you know, you think, oh man, I don't have any chili powder or a chili packet to make for a chili. You don't have to worry about it because you can go strictly to your, you can go simply to your pantry and make your own. So let's put our Italian seasoning. So for our last blend, we are making a Southwest spice blend, and it uses 8 different spices for it. So for our first spice, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, tablespoon of our chili powder. So luckily this is our last spice blend because I'm about out of my chili powder. So there's 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of our garlic powder. Now we're going to need a tablespoon of onion powder. So a tablespoon of onion powder. And then we're going to need a tablespoon of, this time instead of just using plain paprika, this time we are using our smoked paprika. And we need a tablespoon of the smoked paprika. I don't know if I have enough in this bottle or not. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think I do. Let me bring this a little bit. Oh yeah, that's good enough. In fact, I'll just put whatever's left. So there's 1 tablespoon of our smoked paprika. So now we need 2 teaspoons of cumin. There's 1. And, well, there's another one. 2 teaspoons of cumin. And then 1 teaspoon of our salt. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of our salt. 1 teaspoon of pepper. And now we just need a half a teaspoon of chipotle powder, which we don't have chipotle powder. We're just going to use this Southwest Chipotle, and you only need a half a teaspoon of that. So there you go. There is all the spices for Chipotle spice seasoning. And let's go ahead and stir this up and get all the spices mixed in. So for my fifth one, I didn't have any more containers, so I'm simply just going to use a glass dish to put my seasoning in. Oh, see, I almost forgot. Let me go ahead and label my jar. And this is for our Southwest seasoning. Spoon it all in there. So there is our last spice blend, Southwest seasoning. And now it smells so good. So let me go ahead and get my mess cleaned up and we'll be back. So there you go. There's 5 different seasonings you can make at home, and they're very easy and quick to do. Now the general rule of thumb when you go to use your seasonings, you want to use about 2 tablespoons of seasoning per a pound of meat. Now again, it's however it's up to you, your taste. Usually when we make it, we end up using almost all of the seasoning in one setting. Like our chili seasoning, we will just go ahead and use usually we'll use the whole container in one bowl of chili. So there you go, guys. There are our 5 seasoning blends. And if you haven't already, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you guys later. And let us know in the comments down below if you give these a try. Tell us which one is your favorite. Thanks again.